Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching on Wednesday the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. It looks like it's going to be a dry bonfire night actually for most of the country. Going to be a frost though. You're going to need to wrap up warm. It's actually going to feel like bonfire night, unlike Halloween of course, when I know many of you are wearing t-shirts. So yes, certainly a chilly one if you're going to be having a party tonight. Now, we're in a cooler air mass certainly now, and that's the way it's going to be for the coming days. That's the temperature graph there for London look, and you notice how these maximum temperatures kind of holding fairly steady as far as the GFS ensemble is concerned. Notice one or two dips here in temperature, so there will be the odd cooler day around, and notice as well the rainfall there fairly consistent throughout. However, in Scotland, there could be a couple of hits of colder weather next week as northwesterlies get in and a polar air mass develops. The air across the south is going to be originating across the Atlantic generally, but across Scotland we could just at times find hits of polar air. And this is the graph for Glasgow. And you notice there, look how much cooler it is. So I think a real kind of wintry feel to the weather at times across Scotland in the coming 10 to 15 days. Also pretty wet, notice there the green, so that indicating a fair amount of rainfall around as well, and certainly some pretty heavy rain to come during the course of this weekend. So plenty of unsettled conditions ahead, but one of the medium to longer term, well, this is the ECMWF from the 15th of November, and this feature here is the one that's causing us the question marks right now. Low pressure by then forecast to be southwest of Ireland, this more south to southeasterly flow. Now it still puts Scotland in a cooler east to southeasterly flow, with the air originating across what will by then be pretty cold parts of western Russia before making its way into Scotland. But across England, Wales and Ireland here, generally temperatures holding up but still staying pretty unsettled, steady most of the rain in the west and the south. Compare that chart to this one for exactly the same day from the Canadian GEM, and notice the low much further north. Look, still got a south to southeasterly flow, but some really wet weather on that one across southern and eastern areas. And then that's how the GFS ensemble looks. It's got its trough, it's got its low down here, so it is kind of seeing a similar scenario to the ECMWF in a way, but it does mean that Scotland is in the less cool air, and basically for most its temperatures around about normal but staying fairly unsettled. The one that we still favour most is the ECMWF. I think that's how this could shape up. In fact, I was telling my students yesterday on the MSc course at the University of Birmingham about these troughs coming through, coming in from the States and getting cut off and eventually sinking their way southeastwards, leading to that east to southeasterly flow. And interesting to see the ECMWF has picked up on that. So I think that's probably the way we're going to head with this. Now the CFS keeping that trough in place. This is the day 6 to 10 outlook running up to the 15th of November from Levi Cohen at tropicaltidbits.com. And notice how he's still got this trough look out towards the west, but big ridge towards the east showing up on the CFS. A similar scenario from days 11 to 15, which takes us up to the 20th of November. Still got the big ridge out towards the west, trough out towards the east, and this really is indicative to try and get a low in here somewhere and pull in that south to southeasterly, which is what I was just telling you about. So I still think it's kind of Ireland, Wales, southwest and perhaps central southern parts of England in the wettest conditions, drier and cooler across northern and eastern Scotland and down eastern coasts. A little change showing up in the 16 to 20. Still got the ridge west, still got the trough, ridge east, still got the trough towards the west. And with that scenario, probably the flow backing more into a south to southwesterly. So a tendency still for wetter weather out towards the west. Although, I was hinting at yesterday, is the idea of this high trying to get in a little bit, trying to eat away at those eastern coasts, bringing drier conditions east and south. And days 21 to 25, just hinting at showing that ridge in there, so still going for this idea of some dry weather around perhaps after about the 20th, although probably by then tending to I think probably still see outbreaks of rain affecting more western parts of the country. But this idea of that building pressure towards the end of the month still showing up quite well on the CFS, and interesting to see the trough here, look, getting into the mid. I'm just wondering if we are going to see a surface pattern setting itself up something like this, with perhaps low pressure centered down here, higher pressure centered up here somewhere, and sort of this sort of flow trying to get in for a time, although with low pressure out towards the west you would tend to still have this south to southwest flow kind of coming in between, and a ridge of sorts building through the country, so we get the high centered in here as well. So dry conditions, it's probably foggy, it's probably quite frosty, but it may just play right for that very end of the month. So I'll leave you with that for now, but thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Have a great bonfire evening if you're celebrating, but whatever you're doing, have a great day, keep the sun shining, and bye for now.